Get to the end of the Haggadah. So Rabbi Yisrael Glili says that the reason that we were trying to find out how many makkos there were by Kriyas Yamsuf, so he says that it was Etzba Elokim by Mitzrayim, and it was Yad Hashem by Kriyas Yamsuf. Therefore, Etzba Elokim is 1, Yad Hashem is 5 fingers, so therefore it's 5 times the amount of makkos that were by Kriyas Yamsuf. Questions like this. They didn't say Etzba Elokim by Dam, they said Etzba Elokim by Kenan. So Kenan was Etzba Elokim. So Kenan is 1 makkah. So therefore, 1 makkah in the triangle, there should be 5 makkahs by Kriyas Yamsuf. How do we know that Etzba was all the makkahs? So as follows. The Gemara in Sanhedrin says that Kishuf, black magic or Nichush, is attached to the ground. Because we have the Siyum Bechorim, the famous story, he had the 80 witches, and the 80 witches, he wanted to destroy them. How did he destroy them? He had 80 Talmidim come with him, they lifted up the witches off the ground. Once the witches were off the ground, they had no more power, and then he was able to kill them. So, what's going on in Mitzrayim? So when Aaron comes and throws his staff on the ground and it turns into the Tanin who's on the ground, they can replicate it. When there's blood in the Nile, it's running along the ground, they can replicate it. It's same thing with amphibians, right? So when they came up, and the amphibians came up off the ground, they were able to replicate it. And it came to Kenan, also they said, okay, why? Because it was dust. It was dust of the earth. So they said, oh, dust of the earth, we can replicate it. It's no problem. All of a sudden, they couldn't replicate it. They realized that this is the Etzba Elokim. Why? Because the pasuk says at the end, when they told Paras, Etzba Elokim, it says, because there are kinim on man and beast. But the pasuk before that said already it was kinim on man and beast. Why did they repeat it? Because they said it wasn't just dust that looked like kinim, that was acting like kinim, some sort of trick. It was actual kinim. There's no way that we were able to make actual kinim out of dust, and therefore they realized this must be Etzba Elokim. If this is Etzba Elokim, all 10 makkahs are Etzba Elokim. Which is why the Torah doesn't say they tried to replicate any other makkah except for Shkin. What happened with Shkin? It says that Atumim wanted to, but they couldn't stand up before Moshe because they were afflicted. Why did it say by Shkin? Because what did Moshe do? He took the upper, he took the stuff out of the tanors, and he threw it up in the sky. So they said, we probably could replicate it. If we take the stuff and put it on the ground, maybe we'll be able to replicate the Shkin, but they were too inflicted to even try. The other makkahs have nothing to do with ground, and therefore it had nothing to do with them. So therefore we see that if they realized that if Kenan was Etzba Elokim, all the makkahs are Etzba Elokim, and therefore Mr. Glili was teaching us more than just that there were 50 makkahs or whatever it is, the cheshbon is over there by the Kriyas Yamsuf, who's teaching us that they realized that all 10 makkahs are Etzba Elokim.